right. Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. For those of you guys that are joining us over on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, as usual, I'm going to ask of you to come join us over here on Zoom. It gives us the benefit, of course, of being able to better interact because we're going to get some role play in. So I want to make sure that we do get you role playing here with us. I do have here as well Lizette, who's my co-host, who's going to be sharing basically some insights and, of course, any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you guys have. Feel free to go ahead and type those in. We'll get those questions addressed. And anyways, let's continue to maximize our expireds. Let's master this specific source, and let's continue to grow. All right. So yesterday we were talking about the time that we call them. It is important we understand this because what this does is it separates us from the competition. Percentage of you guys that are calling these expires, you're starting way too late. And all you're getting is nothing but resistance. And the resistance that you're getting is the, can you stop calling me? You're the 20th agent. Can you take me off your list? Who the F do you think you are calling me this early? All of these things that in a sense that we get. So part of it is the time. As I mentioned yesterday, between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m., your competition is going to be about 2 to 5 realtors. Again, for my LA people, you can probably add a 0 on the backside of that, between the hours of 7 and 8. Between the hours of 8 and 9, we're looking at about 25 to 50 realtors you're competing with, okay? Between 8 and 9. You're competing with 25 to 50 realtors. Now, between the hours of 9 and 10, you're not competing with as many as 40 to 75 realtors. Why is this important? It's important because when you're starting, and if it's 8:45, 9 o'clock, 9:30, well, you're already late. You're now, again, the 30th, the 40th, the 70th person calling. And what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get nothing but resistance. And all the resistance you're going to get is just the, again, take me off your list. You're the 30th person. I'm sick and tired of you guys calling me. All of the everythings. So if you're not in a position that you're really, in a sense, working on your skills, and you're calling at 8:30, 9 o'clock, your odds are against you. If you are skilled and you're still starting late, well, your odds are still against you. But when you start to combine skill and you start to add the time that you start, your odds start to work in your favors. Okay, so I want to make sure that we understand this, that the one controllable you have, ideally, is going to be the time that you start. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to encourage you to work on your skills, okay? And that's the purpose of what we're doing here. So if you have any questions, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and ask them. Again, if you're on the other platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, again, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to go ahead and type in any questions there. We'll get those questions addressed. But again, as usual, I want to encourage you to come join us over here on Zoom. So, all right, let's continue on. Anybody have any questions that I can address? All right. So yesterday I talked about calling the expireds 5 times. Okay. Yeah, 5 times. Now, some of you are just not calling frequently enough. You go through, you pick up the phone, you start dialing at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you call them one time, and you invest maybe an hour and a half, and you get 2 contacts, if that. Okay. Well, again, as I mentioned yesterday, between the hours of 7 and 8, your competition not only is at 2 to 5 realtors, but you're probably going to end up about 6 to 8 contacts an hour. On average, 6 to 8 contacts between the hours of 7 and 8. Between the hours of 8 and 9, yes, your competition is 25 to 50, but now you're going to get about 4 to 6 contacts. We want to be as close to 10 contacts an hour, by the way, just so that you have something as far as a reference point. And then between the hours of 9 and 10, again, you're competing with 40 to 75 realtors. Well, that goes drastically down to as many as 2 to 4 contacts. So your contacts per hour goes down. Okay. So in this, it is vital that, number one, you start as close to 8 o'clock or read between the lines before 8 o'clock. Again, the asterisk is the DNC law is in place. We're not supposed to call before 8 o'clock, but I can tell you some of the strongest clients that I have are calling before 8 o'clock, but that's totally up to you. Okay. Now the 5 rounds, let's talk about this. Okay. So let's take a look. We got showcasing with Sandra. To be honest, I'd be pissed if someone called me before 9 a.m. Not everything is a morning person. Thoughts? Absolutely. I agree with you, Sandra. I would be absolutely pissed if somebody called me before 9 o'clock, but I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make sales. Okay. And if we're sitting here worrying about hurting people's feelings, well, then maybe the expired source is not for you. But here's the thing. I want to remind you, Sandra, I don't know if you're here for the first time, but I would call as early as 6:30. Now, keep in mind that on an average community of about 100 homes, how many of those homes have children that are going to school today? Think about it. 30, 40, maybe 50 out of 100 homes have children that are going to school today. How about that don't have children but are going to work and need to be at work at 8 o'clock or 7:30? How many more are there? So out of 100, there's a very good likelihood between taking kids to school, getting them up early, and going to work. Well, there's a very good likelihood that 70, 80 of the homes, pretty good odds, are going to work or leaving right around that 7:30 window to drop off the kids at 7:30 at 8 o'clock, get to work at 7:30 at 8 o'clock. Now, what's my point? In order for this to take place, households are waking up about 6:30. So my question to you is this: do you want to be the first, the second, the third, or the 40th person to call them? Okay. So again, we're not here to make friends. We're here to make sales. Okay. So calling them earlier is important. Now, are we going to get the who the F do you think you are calling me this early? Absolutely. You're going to get it. It's part of the gig. Okay. But we're not calling here to make friends. We're calling here again to make sales. So I leave that up to you whether or not you want to partake in that or not, or you can continue. And again, this isn't to you specifically, Sandra. You can continue to try the efforts that other people are doing and not getting the results. Just an idea.
Robert, I think even if they called at 9, like even after 9, it might still be too early for that person. So I think just at any point in time, but that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, calling them at 6:30, Lizette, you're going to piss them off. Okay, you're going to piss them off, Sandra. You're going to piss them off at 6:30 because, yeah, I mean, it's early. Who the F do you think you are? But do I piss them off at 6:30 and be the second or third person? Or do I piss them off at 9 o'clock or 9:30 and be the 50th person? Either way, you're going to piss them off. As the old saying goes, life is hard. You got to choose your hard. Okay. So either you put in the effort initially, okay, so that you actually do everything in your power to have a strong morning so that the rest of your day is a little bit easier. Or the other part of it, you sleep in, you do, the usual like everybody else, and then you find yourself in a position where you're struggling the rest of the day. And let's go ahead and move on. So the 5 times, let me go through this just to make sure that we're all on the same page as to with what I'm referring to. On average, here's where I want you to be at. Okay, because I know that there were some people that asked this question or kind of posted something in regards to not getting enough contacts. Just an idea. You're going to want to be around 10 properties, 10 homes. Okay, that's where you're going to want to be at. I get it. I understand. Well, I pulled up my list and I only had 3 people today. I get that. I understand. Other people, man, it was crazy today. I got 17, I got 30, I got 40, I got all of these lists because, again, every area has different density and different activity. But the goal is to be around 10. That's where you want to be at. If you're averaging today, you got 8, okay, good job. Tomorrow you get 12, awesome, good job. The next day you get 13, good job. The next day you get 11, awesome. That's where I want you to be at. Where I don't want you to be at is 2, 3, and 4 homes. I don't want you to be at 30, 40 homes. How do we fix that? The way you're going to fix that is you're going to look at different demographics. You're going to look at ranges. And what I mean by that is that if you're getting 30, 40 properties, maybe you look at increasing the sales price. If you're only getting 2 or 3, maybe you look at opening up geographically. Maybe you're so centered that you're only calling, a 10, 15-minute radius. How about expanding to 20 or 30 minutes? How about expanding to 45 minutes? You got to do this constant, whether it's the standard of sales price or the distance, all of those things. Okay, so those are the things you want to pay attention to. So again, the goal is to get about 10 homes. On the same page? Good. Now, of this, on average, we're going to get about 3, or 4 numbers per property, per home. 10 homes, 3 to 4 numbers on average. Again, I get it. I understand. Sometimes you're going to get 2, sometimes you're going to get 7, but you're going to be right around 3 to 4. I know this because, again, the amount of people that I coach, me personally going through the trenches and calling expireds. 10 properties, 3 phone numbers per property. That's 30 phone numbers. So if you were to stack all the phone numbers, you have property 1, phone number 1, 2, 3, property 2, phone number 4, 5, 6, and you just keep going down the list. You see what I'm getting at? You're going to go through, you're going to call the entire list from top to bottom. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10, number 30, all the way down. That's where you want to be at. Now, when you're done with that, round number 1, you're going to start back at the top and you're going to work your way from the top all the way down, back down to the bottom. And that's going to be round number 2. But Robert, won't they get pissed off if I call them a second time? Well, it depends ultimately with what you initially had a conversation with. Here's what I'm getting at. Now, in that first round, you're going to eliminate the wrong numbers. Now, I'm not saying, hey, you called the wrong person, because we're going to talk about that. I'm talking about this number is no longer in service. That's what I'm talking about, or whatever basically ends up happening now. Number 2 is going to be the people you have a conversation with. You might have an in-depth conversation. Yeah, we're not thinking about selling the house anymore. We were thinking about going to San Diego. I appreciate the call. Yeah, it's okay. No, don't even bother. And you just hang up. And they just hang up. Now, if you got to some sort of 3, 4, 5, 7 questions in, move on. Cross them off the list and move on. But if all you got was just simply nothing more, then who's this? A realtor? Click. I'm going to call them back. I'm going to call them back. You choose. Now, round 2, you're going to go back to the top. As I mentioned, you're going to eliminate all of those other ones. You're going to go through at the very bottom. In that first round, there's a very good likelihood out of the 30, you'll probably get a hold of 4, 5, or 6. Why are you going to call them back a second time? Well, the reason you're going to call them back a second time is simply because of the fact that, remember, they're getting blown up. So I'm calling phone number 1, they don't pick up. But they're on the phone with Lizette, and Lizette's doing everything in her power trying to get this deal or trying to get this listing. And they're on the phone 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. In the meantime, the phone is like buzzing on the other side for that expired client, but they don't pick up my call. So I'm going to call them back a second time. Again, round 2, see what I'm getting at. And you're going to go through and you're going to make another 2, 3, or 4 more contacts. Okay, so again, you're going to make 6 to 8 contacts right in that window in that first and then in that second round. On average, you're going to be about 1 minute per number. So if you have 30 numbers, it's going to take you about 30 minutes in that first round. Again, remember, you eliminated probably about a good 6, 7, or 8 of them, or maybe even 10 of them, because again, wrong numbers, not conversations or contacts, just simply you ended up eliminating them. In that second round, you're probably going to get rid of, again, another 3, 4, or 5 more. So in the first 2 rounds, you probably already eliminated maybe about 50%. Okay, so you eliminated about 12, 13, maybe 15 of the 30 numbers. Once you exhaust that, you're going to go right back to the top again, and you're going to call that third round. Okay, and in that third round, you might make 1, maybe 2 more contacts based on everything I just described. So in that first round, you probably eliminate 10, 12 of the 30 numbers. That second round, you're going to eliminate, I don't know, maybe another 6, 7, 8 more numbers. And then in that third round, you might eliminate another 2, 3, or 4 of those numbers. So by the time you're done with that third round, you eliminated 17, 18, maybe 20 of the 30 numbers. But I talked about 5 rounds. What you're going to do after that third round is you're going to move on to a different source. Okay, because now, first round, 30 minutes. Second round, probably about 20 minutes. So you're now almost at 9 o'clock. And then that third round is about another 15, maybe 20 more minutes. So now you're about 9:15. Now it's that, not getting the results based on the timing. Okay. Now after that third round, move on to another source. Go call FISBOs, maybe pick up the phone, call a database, maybe call a lead follow-up, call just listeds, absentee owners, follow up with your open house leads, whoever it is, move on. Go to the other source, the next 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 source. And then you're going to find yourself in a position where now you're like, okay, well, I'm hungry. It's time for me to get lunch. It's 11:30, 12 o'clock. Don't go grab your sandwich yet. That's where you call them that fourth round. Okay, that's where you call them that fourth round. Again, it's only going to take like 10, 15 minutes. The likelihood is you're probably going to get maybe 1 person, maybe 2 people that pick up. But you're just giving it another step. Okay, in that fourth round, there's not a lot of great results, but at least you're putting in the effort. And there are going to be the opportunities that end up showing up. Now, I talked about 5 times. So when do we call them? When do we call them on that fifth round? That fifth round, we only call them at, not before, don't cheat, at or after 5 o'clock. Okay, at or after 5 o'clock. Now, this is important because there are people, believe it or not, that still go to work right now. They're showing up to work. They're going to report to, for my Pacific Standard people, it's going to be 8 o'clock here in 15 minutes. And they're, parking right now, about to walk into their job, and they're going to get their phone and they're going to put it in their locker. They're going to put it away because they're not allowed to have their phone on with them, right? And what they end up doing is at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, they go and look at their phone and they go, what the heck? 127 missed calls. And then at 5 o'clock, almost on the dot, Robert's going to call them. Okay. And again, remember, there's at this point in time, there's 7, 8, maybe 9 people left. So it's only going to take 10 minutes. It's not like all of this extra energy or effort that you're going to have to exhaust. But give it another stab. And again, you'll get another maybe contact, maybe 2. You will get rewarded based on the efforts with what I'm talking about. Okay. Now it's not going to happen necessarily today. It might not necessarily happen this week. It may not even happen this month. And as I've shared with you guys before, okay, I'm going to share with you my personal results. This doesn't mean that this is your personal results. Now you have to remember, I'm about 22, 23 years old, trying to go after this, former stupid kid. I mean, we're all some version of stupid kids, right? Hey, but I was up to no good. And I just didn't have the language of sales. And my point in this is that when I would go through, I would call expireds. It took me 3 years before I captured my first one. So the reason I prefaced it is I don't want you to sit here and say, I don't want to take 3 years, and you shouldn't, and you won't. Okay? And the only reason it took me 3 years is because I really did not take it serious in terms of the language of sales initially, and even more so specifically about learning how to go after expireds. It wasn't until about that second year when I started seeing other people that were capitalizing on it, because again, I built my business off of door knocking. That's how I built my business. But then in that second year, I started getting a little bit of traction. I started to get appointments, okay? But I wasn't closing them. I wasn't getting the listing contract signed. And again, it wasn't until that third year when I finally got somebody that said, okay, Robert, we'll hire you. And it wasn't until then that I understood as to why I was able to capture more business. And the reason I was able to capture more business from expires is because I understood it wasn't about Robert. It was about them. And what I mean by that is I would sit there and say, hey, I'm the #1 agent. Let me go ahead and help you. I know I can help you. I'm great. I'm amazing. I am the best realtor here in the area. Didn't work. So I started to learn, which I'm going to work on with you guys, on how to extract motivation. Because the moment that I started asking questions from a place of empathy, what's the benefit of making this move for you and your family? What were you guys most looking forward to? Where is it exactly you're wanting to get to? I mean, what do you think stopped the home from selling? That is when I started getting results. So it's not going to take you 3 years. Why is it not going to take you 3 years? Because everything I went through, I'm shortening that gap for you. I am shortening that learning curve for you. All right. So enough of the soapbox. Any other questions,
I
comments?
think I'll just chime in because I do feel like, you have this pretty much down to very strategic. So even though it did take you a couple years, well, it shouldn't take your next, your clients a couple years just because you've already went through that. So you pretty much have it down from, the time to call, the first call, to kind of identifying, okay, they normally people will get out of work at 5. So that would be putting you at 5 o'clock. And I feel like a lot of people don't think about all of those details.
Yeah.
So I do feel like that's down to strategy. But I do want to share just a quick comment in here. So from YouTube, Elisa mentioned that I know for a fact in my area, agents start calling at 7 a.m. One of the agents openly admitted it on a Zoom that she was on. He has a team of several agents and say they all will call from different phone numbers by 8 a.m. several times.
Yeah.
And then Sean just mentioned they all get mad anyway. So yeah.
Good old Sean. Absolutely. Okay. So that dude, one of my favorite coaching clients, and even talked to Sean. I mean, it took him a minute just to get to that learning curve on the expired. So thank you for that, Lizette. And exactly. So everything I learned, because what I would do, I did a lot of things wrong. That's how we learn though. I would go out again. I built my business via door knocking. That was my blankie. That was the, all right, here I am in the office. Now I'm not calling 630 yet. I learned that later on. But then I started to, as my business evolved, initially I'd show up at the office and the very first thing I'd do, I'd go and knock on doors. That's what I would do. 7:30, that's when I would start knocking on doors. And then finally I'd get to the office, after knocking on doors, and it would be 9:30, and that's when I'd call them. I was making all of these rookie mistakes. So I'm shortening that gap. Thank you, Lizette, because all of the things that I learned how not to do is what I'm going to work with you guys this month so that you don't have to go through 3, 6, 9 months of the, damn, I was doing it all wrong. Okay. And it took me a little while to realize that to call 5 rounds. When I'm calling my good friends, as I'm building, my friendships with my circle of people that were blowing it up, they're like, dude, how many times you calling expires, by the way? It's like, well, I called them at least once, sometimes twice. No, you got to call them 5 times. What? What in the world? So I started learning all these things. And of course, as I became a coach, that's what I'm going to help you guys with. But let's go ahead and go into the scripts. Thank you, Lizette. And then just cut me off. Okay. Don't worry about, finding the perfect timing. So, because I know I get on a little bit of a roll. All right. So let me share a script here. All right. There we go. So in the script, okay, let me go through it. I went through it yesterday. Hi, John. So as you'll see, I made a little bit of tweaks yesterday because I noticed that there was some things that were missing. But anyways, hi, John. Yeah. My name is Robert. I'm a local realtor with Blank Blank Realty. The reason I'm calling you, there's a reason. The reason I'm calling you is I'm sure you've received several calls by now, regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. I was simply calling to see, when are you planning to hire the right agent for the job of selling your home? Okay. Well, you're not. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I mean, when you do sell your home, where are you guys going to next? Oh, you're not making the move after all. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, you had an original intent to go somewhere. Where were you planning on going to? To San Diego. So is that no longer going to happen? Oh, it is. You just don't know when. Okay, I understand. Now, in an ideal situation, how soon would you have wanted to be there? Oh, you wanted to be there by the holidays. Well, what was waiting for you guys over to, making that move over to San Diego? Oh, you had a family. Understood. Okay, which family is waiting for you over there? Oh, you got mom, you got sister, and then 2 brothers. So do you have nieces and nephews that are over there as well? I can sense your frustration. Now, I am curious though, is your frustration with the fact that your home did not sell, or is it the calls that are coming in this morning? I understand it's super duper early, but here's the thing though, is if I can help you, John, get over to San Diego so you can be with mom sooner rather than later. I mean, isn't that something that you still want to do? I mean, tell me, what is it that you were looking forward to when you got down there? What were you and mom looking to do more often? Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of go to church and just go out and heck, just grab menudo on Sunday, right? I get it. I understand. Yeah, I totally understand. It is frustrating. I totally understand with where you're coming from. Now, how does mom feel about the fact that, you're not getting there yet? Oh, yeah, she's pretty disappointed. Understood. I completely get that. And I'm really sorry to hear about the fact that it didn't sell. What do you think stopped it from selling? Do you see what I'm doing? Most realtors, what do they do? Hello, John? Yeah, I understand, John. No, I know you're not planning on selling. No, I get it. But where were you planning on going? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, I can help you, John. Okay, I know I'm a really good realtor. I work with a great company. We sell a lot. Yeah, no. I get that, John. I completely understand. Well, I just want to show you what I do. Doesn't work. Guys, see the difference? You need to see the difference because if you don't, you're not gonna get the results. Now, in this, they are going to be mad. Okay. Going back to Sandra's question, yeah, they're going to be mad. But guess what? I'm going to be mad with them. There's a difference between being mad and being mad at the fact that you're sitting there yelling at me. I don't know who the F you think you are, John, yelling at me this early. But did John even know who I am? Yet we take that personal. Don't take it personal. I go right with the flow. John is sitting there. He's frustrated. He's annoyed. He's agitated. I get it, John. Look, I'd be upset if I was you too. I understand 7:55, you already had eight realtors calling you. But John, let me ask you, I have to ask you, are you still planning on selling the house? Inevitably, at some point in time, eventually, okay, got it. I mean, what's stopping you from making the move now? Just selling the house. Do you see what I'm getting at? Now, am I going off script? Yes, but I'm going to equip you on when and how to go off script. Because when you go off script, it's always going to be about them, not about me. And I'm going to get you to become masterful in regards to when you go off a script, because the best realtors will always do the questions between the questions. And what I mean by the questions between the questions is sandwiching in maybe a question or two right in here, maybe another question or two right in there. But again, it's always going to be about them. I'm going to give you the cheat code: who, what, when, where, why, how, and the occasional if. Got to throw those in, because the can you, will you, do you minds, the all this other stuff, let me help you, I do this, I doesn't work. All right. Questions? Anything else that I can address? All right. So I'm going to go through a quick little role play. Okay. I will go, Lizette, if I can have you be my seller. So let me go ahead and get you off mute here real quick.
Okay.
Here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, Lizette.
Yes.
Lizette, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor with Blank Blank Realty. The reason I'm calling you is because I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. And I was simply calling to see, when are you planning to hire the right agent for the job to get your home sold?
Oh yeah. We're gonna be taking it off the market for a few weeks.
Okay.
We're gonna work on it. And then we'll revisit the idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So basically taking the home off the market, kind of reevaluating the situation, maybe do a couple of repairs. When you do get the home sold though, where are you guys planning to move to next?
Well, I'm divorcing and I'm going through a divorce.
Uh,
So we're pretty much she's gonna take her money and he's gonna take his money and then I'm gonna take mine and we're just gonna buy our own place.
yeah, absolutely. So she's going to take her money, he's going to take his money, you're going to take your money. So I totally get it. Now, as far as where you're going though, are you planning to stay here in the area?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, got it. Now, is this a court order sale? Is this kind of a mutual agreement between all of you guys?
No, we're agreeing to it, both of
Okay,
us.
good. Okay, so everything is pretty much amicable. The goal is to get this property sold. Everybody start their new chapters, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, how soon were you hoping to start this new chapter?
Well, I mean, we were trying to get it sold, but we just right now the realtor that we had, I felt like they just didn't do what we needed. So we're just gonna revisit it in a few weeks.
Yeah,
But thank
absolutely.
you for calling.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you even taking my call this early. Now, obviously, the benefit is getting this home sold so you guys can all start your new chapters, which is, of course, where you guys are wanting to get to. But Lizette, I'm sorry, first off, that your home didn't sell. What do you think stopped it from selling, in the last 6 months? I see you were on the market.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess our feedback was it could have been the price, but I mean we didn't want to go too low anyway, so we're gonna touch it up and like I said, we're just gonna put it up in a few weeks.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. I really like the fact that you guys are repositioning yourself in regards to, fixing up the home and getting yourselves in a better position. But I also see here you're listed with Sean Holmes, and I'm sorry that that actually didn't work. How'd you happen to pick Sean, by the way?
Uh, we were actually through Zillow actually.
Oh, okay. Got it. So you found this guy, Sean, through Zillow. He sat on the home for about 6 months, didn't get it sold. I mean, there's something that Sean did that he liked best. Well, what was that?
Well, I mean, they just said that we were gonna get what we were asking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's common. Overpromise, underdeliver. What do you think he should have done though?
I maybe just some more marketing. I don't know if it was really pushed out that much.
Okay, so a little bit better marketing, just done a better job in terms of showcasing the home, maybe getting you, of course, an offer so that you guys can all start your new chapters, what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Yeah.
guys do come back on the market here in a couple of weeks, what would you expect from the next agent that you would choose?
Well, we're trying to get this, our next chapter started, but obviously getting it sold. But I also don't want to pay too much, in commissions either. So, um, that's pretty much just kind of where we're at.
So what I'm hearing you say is basically you're looking to maximize your profits. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you already have an agent that you're considering to work with?
Right now we're just kind of putting it on the just kind of waiting for it.
Okay.
We're doing our repairs at the
Okay.
moment.
Yeah. What I'd like to do, Lizette, is I always like to work with my sellers to make sure that they don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars in hope of making a few extra pennies in those repairs. What I'd rather do is evaluate your situation to make sure that you don't overspend in regards to those repairs that you're talking about. I'd rather look at, repositioning your home. Now, also, what I'd like to do is share with you how I sell homes. Are you familiar with the techniques that I use to sell homes?
No, I don't know who you are.
That's fair. I totally get that you weren't expecting a realtor to call you this morning. Here's what I want to do, Lizette. I'd love the opportunity to come out, evaluate your situation, give you my professional opinion in regards to where the money should be best spent. And then you can ultimately determine when you guys go back on the market. I'm looking at my calendar right now. I could be there at 3 o'clock, or should I come by at 5 o'clock better?
I think it'd be way too soon. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, we're working on a few things. But we'll give you a call whenever we're ready.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Now, here's the thing. I want to make sure that I do step back just for a little bit, Lisette. I'm not talking about putting your home back on the market right away. You determine when you're ready to go back on the market. What I'm talking about is putting yourself in a position where you're not investing all of this money in trying to repair the home. I just want to give you a professional opinion, and then you can determine whether going on the market is in 2 weeks and 2 months. You guys can ultimately decide that. I just need about 15, maybe 20 minutes of your time. Again, I could come by at 3 o'clock, or I can always stop by at 5. What time is better for us?
Okay. Um, sure, that sounds fine. I mean, just so you know, we're not ready to go forward yet, but I think that should be fine.
Awesome. All right. For the sake of time, we're going to wrap it up right there. You guys get the direction that I'm going. I can role play again later. I'm not trying to necessarily showcase my talent, but as you guys can see, what in a sense it takes to get to that level. Now, is everybody going to be like Lizette? No, but are there going to be people that are like Lizette? Absolutely. They're frustrated, they're annoyed, they're agitated, but they're not necessarily rude people. They're just basically are just agitated at the situation. So hopefully you got some value today. I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow we got two things. Number one, Script Summit again, as usual, 7:30 to 8 o'clock Pacific Standard. And then last week, unfortunately, had all kinds of technical issues. We get the good fortune of having Mr. Andy Zamora being with us, and we're going to interview him. And again, that's going to be tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. So I will see you all tomorrow. Let's go have a powerful, productive day. Go take a listing or five. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you then. Thank you.